Welcome to a short series where I am exploring each of the human gods who will be present in Guild Wars 3, plus one additional entity that I really want to speculate about. Today, we are talking about Abaddon. Abaddon is one of the most important gods and is likely going to be playing a pivotal role in the story of Guild Wars 3. Going as far back as we know, we do actually know that Abaddon is not one of the original gods and that he actually replaced an older, deposed god. But as the six gods first entered Tyria, Abaddon was beside them, so this event likely happened a long time prior. On Tyria, each of the human gods did their own thing, but Abaddon did many important things of note. Abaddon is the god of knowledge and water, but to look at that from another perspective, he is the god of secrets and everlasting depths. Within Or, Abaddon built reliquaries for each of the human gods, including one for himself that would hold secret knowledge and powerful relics, where the gods collected many different relics throughout their time in Or, including the Bloodstone. As the human gods worked together to help shepherd humanity into this new world, the gods decided to grant unbridled magic to the mortal races. Abaddon himself gave the gift of magic, which began to have unprecedented side effects. Mortal races, including humanity, became greedy and began to fight each other for control of more magic and more land. Devastating wars broke out as many died to each other's hands. It wasn't until King Dork himself journeyed to Ra and pleaded with the human gods to end the bloodshed, to which all the human gods agreed except Abaddon. He protested the other gods' opinion and pleaded to let the mortal races to continue having unbridled magic, but he was ignored, which only caused Abaddon to become more and more angry. Abaddon had many followers, including those in the Church of Abaddon, but his most devout were the Marganites, a group of seafaring humans who lived along northern Alona and the Crystal Sea, worshipping the god of water. As the other human gods turned away against Abaddon, the Marganites decided to travel to a temple of the six gods and slaughter the priests of the other five gods. Upon hearing this, the Forgotten rallied and launched their own navy, pursuing the Marganites and engaging in naval warfare upon the Crystal Sea, slowly driving the Marganites further and further back, to the point that the Marganite lord Jadoth pleaded Abaddon for help, to which Abaddon magically sunk the Forgotten armada and transformed the Marganites into demonic entities. With a new powerful army in the form of the demonic Marganites, Abaddon decided to attempt to overthrow the human gods so that he would be the one ruler of Tyria. Abaddon, being maybe the mightiest of all of the gods, was able to continue fighting for a long time, but over time, through the combined might of the other five gods, Abaddon was eventually defeated. But upon and throughout his defeat, great devastation wrecked Tyria. The Crystal Sea turned into the Crystal Desert, while parts of the northern reaches of Alona, once fertile, became the sulphurous desolation. The other gods cast Abaddon and the Marganites into the mists and imprisoned them within the realm of torment. With chains forged by Balthazar, Abaddon was locked away. In the aftermath of this conflict, the human gods realized that their interference in Tyria and their war amongst themselves brought devastation to the land, and that any future conflict would only ever do the same. As such, they decided to depart from Tyria in an event known as the Exodus of the Gods. Throughout the next several centuries, the God of Secrets plotted to break free from his chains. He was responsible for many different disasters across Tyria. He was able to manipulate the Canthan Shirotagachi to assassinate the Canthan Emperor, which unleashed the Jade Wind. He used the Titans to give the Char the searing cauldrons, which allowed the Char to decimate Ascalon and lay siege to humanity. And he manipulated the Orion Vizier Kilbron to encourage him to cause the Cataclysm of Or, sinking the land beneath the waves. In the year 1075 after Exodus, Abaddon was close to breaking free from the realm of torment as his worshippers began to enact nightfall upon Alona and bring Abaddon back to the mortal plane, wreaking havoc across Alona as they did so and murdering many innocent lives. But the Order of the Sunspears, led by Spear Marshal Cormyr, were able to fight back against Abaddon's forces, push into the realm of torment, and, with the blessing of the other gods, were able to defeat Abaddon. As Abaddon was defeated, the magic inside of him began to become unstable and threatened to destroy Tyria, unleashing itself. But Cormyr was able to consume much of the power of Abaddon, which ascended her to godhood, taking Abaddon's place in the pantheon of the gods and becoming the goddess of order, spirit, and truth, as we see her to this day in Guild Wars 2. But the destabilization of Abaddon's magic and how some of it returned into the ecosystem caused the elder dragons to begin to stir from their 10,000-year slumber, leading to the conflicts that would arise from that. With Abaddon having fully been defeated, not much has happened in the years since. Adventurers have been able to explore important holy sites to the fallen god and learn more. Powerful artifacts and important iconography have been collected, or sometimes looted, by various parties. With Cormyr having taken Abaddon's place, many of the things connected to Abaddon have gone to her, with some going to Lissa. As we look at the story of Guild Wars 3, it is safe to assume that we will be experiencing a lot of stories related to Abaddon. Guild Wars 3 takes place prior to the Exodus of the Gods, as the 6 gods are still present within Ra, but we know that the God of Secrets kept his secrets and schemed against the human gods before their full war against each other broke out. It is likely that tensions between Abaddon and the human gods were rising and rising until it bubbled over in their disagreement about granting magic to the mortal races of Tyria. I would hope that we get to see some of those tensions and some of those schemes as we explore through Ra and Or as a whole, as we experience the stories related to the human gods and their impact on Tyria. Perhaps we may learn even more about Abaddon, his morals, his beliefs, and so on that we didn't know before playing through Guild Wars 3. We know during the events of Guild Wars Nightfall that Abaddon had some sort of alliance with Doom and Mingus. Perhaps this alliance existed during the events of Guild Wars 3, and that we may experience Doom and Mingus in some way in connection to Abaddon. The big story beat that a lot of people probably just pieced together is that Guild Wars 3 takes place right after Grinth defeated Doom and ascended to godhood himself. If Abaddon was perhaps allies, or maybe even friends with Doom, working with Grinth may be an interesting experience for Abaddon that we could explore. But largely, Abaddon has always been a very cool god throughout the history of the Guild Wars franchise, and I have loved exploring his story in both Guild Wars as well as Guild Wars 2, and I hope we get to learn a lot more as we begin playing Guild Wars 3. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. As I've said, Abaddon is just a really cool god, and I hope I highlighted his story in a decent way. This officially concludes highlighting each of the 6 human gods who will be present in Guild Wars 3, but there's just one more thing that I want to talk about in a future video. I hope you all are taking great care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.